based in Toronto. His meditations reach millions of people through the 10% of Happier and Calm apps. Jeff has taught meditation to every conceivable demographic of free thinkers, including squirmy 6-year-old kids. He tries to do this in a way that's rigorous and clear and adventurous. Jeff Warren is passionate about democratizing meditation and other mental health practices for a world that needs them. So tonight, Jeff Warren will continue the program on meditation to humanity and beyond. And tonight we have a special surprise and a special treat, as joining Jeff Warren tonight is Swami Brahmananda. Let's give a very big hand to Swami Brahmananda ji. As Swami Bramananda ji will be joining Jeff Warren for a conversation on the topic of meditation and spiritual practice. So let's give a very big hand to Jeff Warren and Swami Bramananda.
Thank you. Okay. Do you want to do it earlier, or do you want to do it fairly soon? Or? Okay. So this is really exciting for me, and it's an honor to get to have a conversation with Swami here. Just a bit of context: with a good friend and I have a podcast called the Mind Bod Adventure Pod that we've been doing for a couple years, 2 or 3 years, and it's been a real labor of love. And in this podcast, we invite different teachers and healers and artists and philosophers and scientists, from many different modalities and traditions, to come on and talk to us a little bit about whatever practice they're passionate about, and a little bit about their modality and their path and how they see that practice is connected to that. And what's great about it is we want to do something that wasn't just a kind of top-down intellectual info dump, going straight to here, but rather we wanted to create some sort of shared experience with the listeners, with ourselves. So we always ask the guest teacher to guide us in a practice, sometimes for 5 minutes, sometimes for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and it's so the teacher would guide, or whoever, the artist, the healer, would guide myself and my co-host and everyone listening. And when we play it later, it's not live. And we kind of go into this shared experience together, whether it's a concentration practice, whether it's a mantra, whether it's a communication practice, a movement practice, an art practice. We kind of go there together. We all synchronize, and then as we come out of the practice, kind of shake our heads and like, where did we just go? What happened there? And what are we learning? What does it show us about the mind and body? And what is the nature of this practice as it fits into this path? And having that shared experience has really been, for me, I feel like I get this incredible immersion into a different view, a different kind of heart space, mind space. And I thought, okay, well, what better opportunity than to actually to do this here in a space that's so devoted to practice and a tradition that's so devoted to many different kinds of practices. And I thought, in particular, I know there are new people who've just showed up who may not be familiar. This is my first time at the Sivananda, this ashram, but I've practiced before at the center in Toronto. But I thought it could be an opportunity to introduce everyone here who may be learning about this for the first time to this beautiful tradition, this lineage, and then some of the practices, and talk a little bit about, well, why these practices, and also where does it lead? Like, what is the, well, we can find out from the expert himself, or one of the experts. Thank you for agreeing to do this. So this whole situation here, where does all this go? What are we doing here? What do we do in this center, and these beautiful images, and saturated with this feeling of openness and love and care and devotion? What's happening here? Not to put you on the spot, but it's kind of fun.
So, with your permission, I will start with a few mantras.
Please.
Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bonaktu Saha Viryam Karavavae Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavai Om Shanti 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 Om Peace 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 Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai Namah Shivaya. So this ashram is belonging to the International Sivananda organization, which was founded by Swami Vishnu Devananda, and he was sent by Swami Shivananda, who is one of India's great modern masters, to bring this knowledge of yoga and Vedanta to the West. This was in 1957. And the idea is to provide people with the yoga and Vedanta teaching and practices and experience, and each one according to what they would like to get from it. So this organization offers from people that are coming here for a vacation of a weekend or a few days, to people that come here for teacher training courses and they do deeper immersions, to people that come here for 3 months karma yoga, or they come here for a few years karma yoga, or they stay here.
Life karma yoga.
Right. So basically, the idea is that the ashram is a traditional ashram which shares the knowledge and practice of yoga and Vedanta. And the idea is that people come here and they get from the knowledge and then they carry it everywhere. So a nice way to think about it, the way that the yogis think about it, because the idea is that the ashram is not merely, like, if you think what's the difference between the ashram and another beautiful resort, right? It's a good question. So, because there is lots of natural beauty, etc. But we come here not only because of the natural beauty, but we come because there is, we can call it the presence, right? There is something here which is very deep and profound, and the yogis call this the guru or the lineage, which means the place holds the vibration of a very ancient lineage, which is a living lineage.
Yeah.
In the yogic science, this is everything. So the idea is that the teacher here, and that's it's not merely a physical thing. So the ashram, you can say, is like a beehive, and the guru, the energy of the lineage, is like the queen of bees. So all of us are coming here, and I heard some of the presenters that come here for many, many years. I heard very recently one of them said that she feels as if this place called her.
Yeah.
And that it calls different people according to the need of the mission of this place. And it calls people, then people get from this energy or knowledge, and then they do whatever they need to do. So, we come here, we get our feet smeared with pollen and whatever it is in the beehive, and and then we fly away and we bring it everywhere. This is the idea.
Well, I love that you talk about vibration because that is such a part of what even happens in this space. Even it's the sounds, the music, of course the chants. And can you say a little bit about the role? I mean, it feels like what's happening is we're all in training into this. Well, I guess this beehive rhythm.
Right. Exactly. So the idea is that the vibration here comes from within out. This is the idea. So this is the main thing, and it's a place where we come here. Many people, when they come here, even new people, they say that they feel they came home. Right? And why is that? Because we all feel home in our heart. So it's a place where you come, you are withdrawn into the presence, the divine presence within you. So we feel at home. Everyone feels at home in their hearts. So we feel disconnected when our minds are, outside, scattered, etc. So all the what you call vibration that we do here is trying to come from that place.
Yeah.
So there is the ashram is, of course, it's a physical place, but it is primarily a subtle place. A lot of work is done here on level of subtle energy that has to do with the work of this place.
Yeah, I'd like to ask about the specific lineage energy here, because I remember I was reading a book, and it was a teacher was talking about she had been trained within a particular tradition in India, and I always imagined that when she began her teaching career, it would be within this tradition, and yet she kept having dreams of this complete other. In fact, I think it was Kashmir Shaivism, this complete other tantric tradition that wasn't the main one that she had trained in, and there was something about that lineage. And as she began to teach, she began to really teach that was what was coming through for her. And in fact, she had to then go and do a whole bunch more studying in that tradition because it was very clear that this was what was calling her. And so we can get called to many traditions. What is the specific flavor of here? What have you noticed or about the people who are attracted to this particular lineage?
I think all sorts of people, but it's first of all, it's a place that has to do with unity and diversity. So people from all traditions, and not only spiritual traditions, but also from science and healing and medicine and so it's a place of unity and diversity, which is a central mission of Swami Shivananda, Swami Vishnudevananda, our own Acharya, Swami Swarupananda. So this is one thing, and then yoga and Vedanta, of course, so people that are seeking the knowledge of yoga and Vedanta on many levels. And I think people that are looking for deeper meaning in their life, if they come here, then they may find some good answers.
Has that been your experience? What do you notice people who spend a lot of time here? How do they change? What happens?
Different people change differently, but definitely you see that people's understanding of themselves, of life, etc., deepens very, very substantially. So it really gives a whole different vision, understanding about who we are, about what life is. So that's definitely so. People have a whole different vision of what their life is, what they are doing here, etc.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that really attracts me, just yoga in general, is the, I guess, kind of the multidisciplinary way in which it approaches the subject of practice. That you have devotional practices, you have concentration practices, you have, of course, the asana, you have movement practices, you have, karma yoga is such a central part of it here. And can you say a little bit about what I like about that is it seems like it's depending on the kind of person you are, the kind of nervous system you have, you can kind of find your way in. Has that been your experience? Do people kind of specialize in a, is it normal to choose kind of one part that you really like or that you're better at, or how does it work?
Yes, so Swami Shivananda taught, and this is what we practice here, is what is called the yoga of synthesis.
Yeah.
So there are 4 main parts, which are called karma yoga, yoga of action, or we say selfless service, bhakti yoga, yoga of divine love, yoga of the love of God, Raja Yoga, which is the yoga of meditation, and Jnana Yoga, which is the yoga of wisdom, or you can say analytical analysis into the true nature of the self.
Yeah, like Advaita.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and here, Swami Shivananda thought that we need to do all of them together. So he said each person needs to cultivate their hands or their action, their heart and their head. All these need to be cultivated. And spiritually, it means that all these aspects of our sadhana need to be cultivated. So, and he explained that karma yoga purifies our heart from, what we call attachments or the reasons why our minds are so restless.
Yes.
Karma yoga purifies it.
Yes.
Because it all has to do with selfishness or
Exactly.
egoism. And then once the heart is pure, mind means heart, same thing, the mind gravitates within naturally. And then we feel that divine presence within us naturally, once the heart is pure. And that brings the capacity to practice devotion or bhakti. So the idea, Swami Shivananda says the natural fragrance of the heart is divine love. But the ego is veiling it. So the moment it's purified, then it is naturally revealed. Once we feel that divine presence within us, naturally the mind will be absorbed in that, and that's meditation. So according to this teaching, meditation is actually based on love, on experiencing the presence of God. And then when the mind becomes absorbed, then we begin to know what is here. Because we all say, I am, me. That's the self, but we don't understand what it means. So when the mind becomes absorbed, the nature of who we are is revealed. This is the idea.
It's beautiful. Yeah. This might be a good time maybe to guide a short practice from you to give us a taste or provide one of those ways in.
Okay. So we will do, Swami Shivananda has a beautiful practice, a special meditation for cultivating virtues. So cultivating certain spiritual qualities. It's a general template type of thing that you can develop any virtue that you want. And so we can take one of the main virtues that Patanjali Maharishi gives in the system of Raja Yoga is called the virtue of friendliness or Maitri. And he says friendliness means what? It may sound very strange to us, but he says friendliness towards happy people. Now we may think, what? I mean,
don't they have already all this friendliness coming at them?
Exactly. What's the problem of being a friend with her? I mean, we need to be friend with miserable people, not with happy people. But he says no. He says friendliness towards the happy. This is the practice. So basically, it comes to counteract jealousy. This is the idea.
Oh yeah, it's like mudita in Buddhism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he says. So these are basically spiritual qualities that if we develop them, it will make our mind extremely powerful in moving within. This is the idea. So these are like cardinal qualities. So we will follow and we'll give us a short practice, which is the way that Swami Shivananda teaches this virtue practice, basically.
Wonderful.
So we sit in a meditative posture and we close our eyes. The first step that Swami Shivananda says is think about the virtue in an abstract way. And the meaning is try to feel what friendliness towards the happy feels like. So if our heart is filled with the capacity to be happy in the happiness of happy people, in those that are happy and it's going well for them. And we feel so happy in their happiness. Basically, it means to recognize that how wonderful that people are happy and how many more happy people we need in the world and how better it will make our life and everyone's life if more and more people are doing well and are genuinely happy. So we should feel in our heart this happiness or friendliness towards the happy, and we should feel it on a very genuine, deep level, which means we should really feel in our heart how good it is, how important it is, how powerful it is that other people are genuinely happy, how strong it makes them, how strong it makes all of us if we have this strength of genuine happiness, how it improves everyone, the situation of everyone. So first of all, we think about the virtue in an abstract sense, which means we try to feel it, that we have this virtue, our heart is shining with this virtue. And it's also good to make it very particular in the sense that we should try to feel how our face looks like when we have such a virtue. How do we look at such people? How is our posture when we see them? How our body feels? So we need to feel the virtue in a very visceral way. That's the idea. So this is the first step, thinking about the abstract quality of the virtue, which means feeling it. The next step is think about the benefits of the virtue. So think about, first of all, how it will strengthen you, what a powerful mind it is that is genuinely happy and interested in the happiness of others. Think about what a powerful heart and mind it is that is genuinely, wholeheartedly, sincerely interested in the happiness of other people. So we should feel what a tremendous benefit it is for us to have such a virtue, and then how it would impact your life, your relationships, your career, the way that people relate to you. So see the benefit, how much it fills your life with this light, with this strength of this virtue. So think about the benefits and any other benefits you can think about. Then Swami Shivananda says, think about the practice of the virtue under provocation. The meaning is, see a situation, maybe it's a real situation, meaning someone that you find it difficult to be happy for them. They are happy, and you find it difficult to be happy for them in their happiness, or you can imagine if you don't have such a person. And under provocation, feel how you maintain the virtue. Again, you feel how you maintain the virtue in your heart, which means on a genuine heart level, you hold the quality of the virtue. And again, you can see how you look at this person with this genuine happiness in their happiness, how your posture is in their presence, and everything reflects the virtue. This is the idea. Under provocation. Then, the fourth step is that you feel yourself an embodiment of this virtue, which means how it would be if you perfected this virtue. That you have such a powerful heart that is genuinely, sincerely, deep down in the heart, you are powerfully interested in the happiness of others. So, if this is the case, to a level of perfection, then feel how it is. And feel how it is affecting you personally, your relationships, everything. So make it detailed. And then finally, Swami Shivananda says, conclude the meditation with the affirmation, this friendliness, so you can repeat mentally after me, this friendliness, which is my true self, I feel and show today and every day. So this is the meditation, and Swami Shivananda says we can develop in this way any virtue that we would like.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like I cry on the plane when I watch like the cheesy romantic movies, and this was actually very deep. It struck me that when I teach meditation, lots of people want to learn concentration. They want to get to these states of simplicity and purity, and just where there's just this pure, spacious, these states within yogic systems. Or someone really wants to know about the deconstructive clarity of an insight, of vipassana practice. They want to see the nature of reality, and yet I have to say the practices that I see changing people's life the most are practices like these. Within Buddhism, the four immeasurables, what you describe is very much like the mudita practice, the sympathetic joy, but karuna, the compassion practices, the metta, loving kindness practices, even equanimity is considered a loving kindness, a style of loving kindness practice, and these are where you see the biggest changes. So how do you integrate that into the teachings that happen here? Is it something you do from the beginning? How do you think of that in relationship to the concentration practice that happen here, to all the other pieces?
Definitely, because the practice so in our system, karma yoga is the fundamental yoga. So the idea is that Swami Vishnudevananda says, Karma yoga is meditation step one. The idea is that we truly learn to meditate in action.
Yes.
That's where, if we want to be good meditators in reality, then action is where we actually develop it.
Right, because you cannot fool yourself if somebody's right in front of you and you're acting like a jerk.
Exactly.
It's like, people are intense. It is. I mean, as a parent, like, oh my God, my meditation in action is what it's all about right now.
Right. So, so the idea is that exactly that. So karma yoga is basically because there are certain, you can say maybe in sense, certain egotistic paradigms that drive our actions in a very unconscious way. The virtues, what they do, they are like vehicles of wisdom that begin to give us different incentives for our actions.
Yeah.
So gradually, as we understand them, we develop this capacity to shift the way we relate to people, to action, to the world, to ourselves, of course. And gradually, action changes. So the idea is that Swami Brahmananda says something very profound. He says that activity or no activity makes no difference for the mind. The mind always plays its role. What does it mean? The meaning is that action is a very powerful place to, like you said, to see our motivations, directly in the face. And unless we deal with those motivations in action, when we sit and close our eyes, everything is going to flood, basically.
Yeah. Oh, so interesting. Yeah, that's what I hear that criticism a lot towards meditation. The popularity of meditation now is that it often creates people who are great meditators, who kind of dissociate from their problems, but they go back into their actual life and it's a train wreck. And in fact, there are entire therapeutic modalities that have emerged as ways that are trying to do exactly what you described. They're saying that it all happens socially and interactively, and that's where I'm thinking of like things like core energetics. I mean, there's lots of different modalities. They get you to act out in relation to other people so that you can see what those patterns are and then work on them. Because for a lot of meditators, it doesn't even come up. So I love that that's part of it.
Right. Now, the thing is that, of course, we need this and we need also the silent practice.
Right.
So we need everything.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that, so we learn how to, interact with the world, with people in a different way. Devotional practices are very, very important. They are basically the foundation of meditation in our tradition because we need to tap into the divine presence. This is the idea, for the mind to, otherwise, if we think about it, it's like, we are repeating the mantra, whatever we're doing, and we are hoping for the best, basically. And that's completely okay, but meditation is actually, in the yogic tradition, it's meditation on God. This is how it's defined.
Yeah.
And God means it's the presence of God. So, and that presence, Swami Brahmananda says, is actually alive in our heart all the time. But the mind is out there.
Yeah.
So when we purify our interactions, primarily through people, and we withdraw the mind within towards the divine presence through devotional practices, our meditation will improve rapidly.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm trying to, for me, it's sort of like the not me. It's how I experience this as just like the perfection of space, the perfection of experience. And that's, I would call that God, I guess, but it's not I know, I mean, sometimes I'm very in it, and then other times it's less immediate. Is that, I mean, you even talk about this. Is that what you mean? Or, I mean, for me, I don't experience it. I experience quiet in here sometimes, but I don't experience it in any direction. It's like everywhere, if that makes sense.
Right. So basically, it's the idea is that what we call purity or peace or love, etc., the yogis say it's actually the qualities of our heart. Our heart is actually the self. right? So we all say me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there, and also everyone says, I want to have an open heart, right? But it's difficult to understand really what we mean by that.
Yeah.
Actually, what we mean is that our mind is withdrawn in that presence, you see. So devotional practices means that we actively develop to love God. This is the idea. So
Which is yourself.
God is the self. But as long as we don't know it, and definitely we don't know it, then we relate to God as outside. And this is how it should be.
Yeah.
So, because it's not an intellectual thing.
Right.
So the idea is that we do devotional practices and gradually it pulls the mind within. Right? So what are devotional practices? For example, kirtan is a very powerful devotional practice.
Very much.
Prayer, puja, worship, being in nature can be very powerful devotional practice. And going to holy places, you know, being around, you know, saints, these type of things, these are things which induce devotion in us.
Yeah.
And that's extremely important.
Yeah, I remember the first retreat I went to in India, there was this old man there who, when he would sing kirtan, his voice would just crack. And it was just it was the longing, this, you really understood what devotion was. And I wonder about that. There's almost like a yearning in it, or is that energy something that you cultivate deliberately to kind of break through to go deeper, or is that, it's just palpable, that energy?
Right, so it's a practice, like any yogic practice. It's a whole yoga that is specializing in bringing the presence of God, or we can say what we call love, to reveal it in our heart. This is the idea. So it's a whole yoga that specializes in that.
It's amazing. So what happens if you come here and you're really good at devotional, or you're really good at the asanas, but you're really terrible at this other stuff? I mean, do you have to get really good at all of them in order to balance them out? Or can you just can you nail it in the karma yoga department and just takes you all the way there? Or I guess that doesn't get you a free pass in the Sivananda. I'm asking for all you all, so I'm trying to figure out how to get you a break.
No, these practices are actually totally integrated.
Right.
You see, it's like saying heart, kidneys, stomach, and lungs.
Right. I'm really more interested in a lung practice. I'm going to take my lung all the way to God, and the rest of it's going to stay here.
Exactly. So basically, they are all totally integrated.
Right. That's
actually,
wonderful.
Swami Brahmananda says these 4 yogas are actually one yoga.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a little like, it's a bit like Sri Aurobindo. It's integral yoga.
Very similar.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Okay, so last question. This has been wonderful. And then if there's anything you want to say, I'd love to hear it, like as a kind of final thing. But so let's say you're just like this neurotic, miserable person who's like really bad at meditating and has a whole bunch of non-loving friendliness internal practices going on. So it's like karma yoga. I mean, how do you ever deliberately, I don't want to say target, but when that stuff is coming up, like is it always that you take a virtue to kind of like balance it out, or how do you work with that material when it comes up?
Sometimes it's good to do something more drastic, which means right. So, but of course it depends if the person is willing, right? Of course.
Right.
So I would say they should take TTC.
Oh yeah, wow, hardcore. They're gonna say, get back on the boat.
No, it's really because the idea is that it's
teacher training. They gotta go.
Teacher training, because the thing is that you get an immersion. You see, so
of course, yeah.
If you really want to improve this, something more drastic is very helpful.
Yeah.
You get like a plunge.
Oh, I get it. I mean, I think that's why I started teaching meditation, honestly, so I finally get it through my thick skull. I was like forced to do it
Yeah,
because you can only survive so long as a hypocrite. Eventually, you got to get around to actually showing up. Awesome. Well, this was super fun. It was fun for me to learn more about it, and I appreciate all of you coming and listening, and I appreciate you, Swami. It's really great to hear you talk about this, and you have a lot of passion for it, and what you do here is very special. So thank you, friends. Yeah, anything last thing you want to say about, you take us out on maybe a couple ohms and a Shanti Devi, let's party? I'm ready. I'm going to have to take the TTC now. Which in Toronto means the subway system, which is terrifying.
Exactly. I think it's okay.
We'll let the silence speak for you. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
So I'd like to thank very much Jeff Warren and Swami Brahmananda for this beautiful teaching and conversation tonight. Let's give him a very big hand. And we think the conclusion of the talk was very clear. To do TTC and you'll resolve all your problems. That was the planned message. So now we'll go over the schedule for tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we'll have the morning satsang here at 6 a.m. and Swami Brahmananda ji will continue to share the teachings on the meaning of the Mahashivaratri. 8 o'clock we'll have the yoga classes. If the weather permits, we'll have the intermediate class on the beach platform, otherwise on the Bay platform, and the beginners on the Bay West platform. 9:50 the brunch, 11 o'clock the ashram welcome and history tour, living from reception for any new guests. At 12 o'clock, here on the garden platform, we continue the program with Jeff Warren and meditation to humanity and beyond. Then at 2 o'clock, we continue the special program with Dr. Menes Katfatos on Kashmir Shaivism, Tantra, and Greek philosophies here at 2 o'clock on the garden platform. 4 o'clock, the yoga classes in the same locations. 5:50 the dinner, 7 o'clock the chanting of the Bhagavad Gita, followed by the chanting of the Hanuman Chalisa. And then in the evening satsang, we continue the program with Dr. Menes Katfatos on Kashmir Shaivism, Tantra, and Greek philosophy in preparation for the Mahashivaratri. So now we will conclude with the final prayers on page 97. Om, Om, Om. Trayambakam yajamahe sukhandim pushtivadanam urvarukamiva bandanan mrityo mukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sukhandim pushtivadanam urvarukamiva bandanan mrityo mukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sukhandim pushtivadanam urvarukamiva bandanan mrityo mukshiyamamritat. Om Sarveshan Swastir Bhavatu, Sarveshan Shantir Bhavatu, Sarveshan Purnam Bhavatu, Sarveshan Mangalan Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Badrani Pashyantu Ma Kashet Dukavad Bhavet, Asatoma Satgamaya Tamaso Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purna Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto Thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art Satchid Ananda. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us in a spiritual strength to resist temptations and control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, anger, greed, hatred, and jealousy, and fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold Thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve Thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember Thee. Let us ever sing Thy glories. Let Thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Please stand up for the Arati. You're welcome to follow on page 118.
Om Jai Jarati Vinna Vinayaka Vinna Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jai Jarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jai Jarati Venugopala Venugopala Venulola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jai Jarati Venkataramana Venkataramana Sangatharana Sitarama Radheshyama Jai Jarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Shankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jai Jarati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jai Jarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumantaha Jarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurti Avatara Jai Jarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shanishwaraya Shanishwaraya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shankaracharya Shankaracharya Advaita Gurave Jai Jarati Sangurunata Sangurunata Shivananda Jai Jarati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jai Jarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Zirama Priyaye Jai Jarati Ayyappa Swamiye Ayyappa Swamiye Dharma Shastave Jai Jarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jai Jarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastarebhyo Namaha Jai Jarati Venugopala Om Natatra Suryo Bhati Nachandatarakam Nema Vidyotabanti Katoya Magni Tam Eva Bantamarabhati Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvindam Vibhati Om Gange Chayamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Namasyamyam Namo Namaha Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhus Chasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinan Tvameva Tvameva sarva mama deva deva. Kayena vacha manasendriyarava buddhiyan manava prakriti swabhavat karomi adiyat sakalam parasmai nara yanaiti samarpayami sarvadharmam parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tva sarva papebhyo Mokshay Shamima Sucham. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you very much, everybody at home, for joining us for this beautiful evening satsang. Have a good night and sleep well. Everybody here, make sure to take prasad before you leave. Please help us in tidying up the satsang hall. Please take all the green sitting cushions to the back. Have a good night.